Kino pavasaris. Kovo 18, balandžio 5 dienomis visoje Lietuvoje. Didysis partneris Ergo draudimo grupė. Informaciniai partneriai TV3, 15 min žmonės.
Mūsų karta pirmoji supratusi, kaip iš lėto kenkiame gamtai. Ir vienintelė, žinanti, kad dar yra laiko ją išsaugoti. Apsaugokime mūsų visų ateitį. Ergo.
Geriausius kino pavasario filmus parodys žiūrimiausia televizija TV3. Šeštadieniais 22:40.
Festivalis Kino pavasaris jūsų namuose. Visus filmus žiūrėkite Telia televizijoje jums patogiu metu. Telia. Įdomiau tik gyvenimas.
The laws of physics. The laws of life. Laws connect everything. We think that to be legal advisors, we must live under the same philosophy. Adapting to connect and connecting to adapt.
Hello, labas, and welcome to the Q&A section of OAZև. Thank you so much for attending virtually. And I'm very, very happy to introduce to all of you the director of OAZև, Ivan Ikić, who back in 2014 actually made his debut, feature film debut, with Barbarians, a film which played in Karlovy Vary, had its world premiere there in the East of the West competition, where it won the special mention. And OAZև, the film that you've just seen, is his second film. It had its world premiere at Giornate degli Autori in Venice nearly 6 months ago, and since then it has won just as many awards, one per month almost, including including the very important Europa Cinema's label for Best Film. I'm really happy that you're with us, Ivan. I would just like to welcome you once again, and hi.
Thank you for your invitation to be your at least virtual guest.
Listen, I think I can speak on everyone's behalf, on Monte, Aiste, Maria's, and everybody, I think, at the festival as well. As soon as we saw your film, we were instantly taken by it. And I have a feeling this is also something that you've been hearing a lot in the course of the last couple of months. I really would like to start by congratulating you on making a really important film, but really a deeply human and emotionally genuine movie.
Thank you. I have never on my mind that the film will be mostly seen through the online platforms. And when we made it, we count on the very big screen because it's when they very slow and let's say cinematic or whatever, and you just need to have the big screen and full concentration while you are watching it. So unfortunately, with all those circumstances, the film is mostly seen on the small screen, and that's very very unexpected situation for myself, because I'm always asking me, do the people can watch it like with a full concentration all the time, or they're just like making a breaks, or they're just postpone it, start and then postpone it afterwards. So it's like many new questions, because I have very few opportunities to see it in the cinema with the audience, and this year actually brings us new questions about the cinema, about the future of cinema after all, because the experience of watching film changes with these circumstances.
It does, and really the way that we interact. I mean, there's a lot has been written about it, and a lot has been written about the digital boom of cinema distribution. But I think we're actually seeing it manifest, and actually seeing all of the hypothetical scenarios actually manifest now. Ivan, that being said, I really do think your film translates very well. I mean, and we will speak a bit about its aesthetics, because I think a lot. I mean, a very important part of the film is in its composition and in its rhythm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've created very, very powerful characters, which I can't imagine anybody walking away from, pressing pause and taking a break from.
Yes, I have. Firstly, I have the idea that the film should be the fiction from the beginning, and that I should write the characters. And I didn't want to use any like real stories of the people who are acting in the film, because I feel that this should be somehow fiction, and it should be fully fictional. And I imagined the characters, of course, but of course what you wrote is not always what you can get from the real people who need to act the story you wrote. So, like little by little, I find that the people who participate in the film also give their own touch to the characters I wrote, and give them more human spirit. And of course, that's what people are reacting, especially when you have such fragile circumstances, where the people who are not used to acting first time in their life. So like you never know where it can go. And no, actually, when we start to work on this film, everybody asks us, is it possible for people with intellectual disabilities to act at all? And that was like most of the people and many producers were very skeptical about it. So we got many like rejection emails for collaboration. But yeah, I wanted to prove myself and to the world that something like that is possible, and not only that it's possible, but that it could be very powerful. And I was very happy I found the people, the characters who will act in the film and who fullified or over fullified my vision. And at the end, when the crew watched the film first time in the cinema, like when we do post-production, we were very, I mean, we saw the film in the completely new light, because we never expected that much since the beginning, and we got very, very powerful result after all.
Just as we were talking, I realized that even with Barbarians, your first film, you were looking with that film, and particularly with this one, at characters that defy authority, at characters that lie a bit outside of general society and have a very hard time fitting in. Can you go back a bit and actually tell us what pushed you to tell the story of Oasis, of Maria, Roberta, and Dragana?
I was like 15 years ago, I was in institution where we later shoot the film, and I was shooting the documentary for my film academy exam, and I spent like month there shooting another story. But I got the idea about the love triangle in the institution between the residents. So I like that premise, but I could not like develop the full story for a long time, and it sits somewhere in my mind for a long time until I got the idea how to transfer it in the cinema language. So after that, I wrote the first draft of the story, and what I really wanted with the story was to show the world which is outside of our view, outside of our gaze. So it's something which some very unique and unique world which is above what we see every day. And of course, I was touched by the love story itself, like the melodrama itself, because melodrama it's always against the power. You know, it confronts the power. If it's good melodrama, of course, because it always challenge the source of power. So that was my initial idea, and of course, challenging the power structures in the institution like this was very, let's say, connected with my previous work, and I wanted to develop it further through this story.
So, and tell us about casting, because I think a lot of the film, besides the nuance of the story and how it develops and how it kind of wraps around the characters, is really it rests on the shoulders of the three actors, three protagonists, I should say. Tell us how you approached casting them, how you found them, how.
No, when we were firstly aware that we are working film with people with intellectual disabilities, the first thing we did is to go back to the institution where I got the initial idea, and to see how the life goes after almost 20 years, 15 years. And actually, when we spent some time there, we got sure that we will find our characters there, because we want the people who have some previous experience of living in the institution, not outside of it. So that kind of the experience could give more power to the character itself. So so we go to institution and spend there like 6 months doing the test shots, and then taking one let's say workshop, and we work intensively like for the 6 months with the larger crew, and then we find the people who could be our leads in the film. So like but we didn't know from the beginning like that who is gonna play which role. The first one who got who was the one we chose to that for sure he will be in the film is the boy who plays the Robert, and but real life completely different than his role in the film. He's very cheerful, extrovert, you know. Yes, he's making a jokes all the time. Like he's the main speaker of all parties. They are making, you know, completely opposite to his role in the film. But especially we could not be sure for the role of Maria. Like that was our nightmare since beginning, because we tried many different people, many different girls for that role, and we were not so successful. But Mariana, who plays Maria in the film, was like our third choice, let's say, from the beginning. And then suddenly she invests a lot of her energy and will to improve her skills during the workshop. We were very sure that she is capable of taking that role. But from the beginning, she was completely shy and a little bit skeptical and not sure that even she can do it. But she was very courage deep down inside of her, and she was improving her skills like literally every day.
And sorry, I want to ask, were these kind of workshops that were kind of centered around potential situations of the film, or you were trying
Yes.
to kind of...
So we start like any other acting workshop, like doing improvisation about different situation from the life, and then we then move it to the improvisation about the scenes which could potentially be in the film. So like the relations we have in the film, we try to put on the scene. And then we all the time we were doing like test shots, like every day. So like they were become very comfortable about the camera presence. So they like their acting skills grows with the presence of camera, you know. And they feel that camera is like their body in the film, you know. So it's constantly present, and they are very aware that it is present and don't put much attention on it, you know.
And did they know each other? I guess they knew each other already from...
Yeah, they grow up together actually. The girls, Maria and Dragana, the girls who play Maria and Dragana, they were roommates for most of their life. They shared the room, and after that, the girl who played Dragana left the institution like a couple months before we start to shoot, and she's transferred to another one institution also, but not they were split in the time when we start shooting. They were not roommates anymore. And of course the girl who played Dragana is the best friend of the boy who played Robert, and the girl who played Maria hates the boy who played Robert since their childhood. They are not like in good relations. But now their relation in real life improved. Like they're good friends now, actually.
So on this, I wanted to ask, what was their reaction to the story and to the relationships that you created between these characters? I mean, how was it for them to perform these? I asked this just on a kind of... No, go ahead.
Firstly, it was very funny for them, like to play the roles they not having in their life. You know, they were joking all the time, so we could not do anything because they were joking all the time. So that was the first problem. Yeah. But after a while, they like put themselves with the open heart, and when they saw the first results of their acting, like when they saw the first test shots we did, and that they are capable of playing the roles which are not which they could not imagine they can play before, or the specific relations, they feel very let's say they feel encouraged to work even more in the field of acting. So they were like it was somehow the also the fun, and but also like it was some kind of hobby or something like that, because also there is not much to do in the institution during your day life, so like this was kind of running away of the boring everydayness.
I want to extend that question a bit, because what's really impactful about the film is just how much. I mean, first of all, it almost tells its story visually, and there's very little dialogue, and the very few dialogue that's there is kind of delivered very very impactfully. But it's the quiet moments that speak the most. Um, And I wanted to ask, really, how were you able to, and how were they able to kind of channel down and really express the emotions that we see on screen? I don't mean any prejudice in forming this question, but the one scene that for me comes to mind is the party scene at the beginning, when you see the first inkling of jealousy and of betrayal. And Maria has this absolutely ravishing outburst of emotion, full close up.
Yeah, it's what we did actually on the workshop. It's called emotional memory in the theory of acting. So you have the you had the specific emotion in your life, and now you are able to deliver it in front of the people or in front of the camera. So that's what you do on the acting classics, trying to find some emotion in yourself, and present it in front of the camera or other people. So basically, like, it's not something I don't know, it's not something unusual. It's very like Stanislavski for beginner. And if you work carefully, you can reach those results. But it's it's like months and months of practice, especially in the concentration, in the changing the focus of your character in the screen, changing the focus of the scene itself. So it's a little bit, of course, during the shooting, 90% of material is crap, like, and you cannot use it because all the time you have like some distractions, somebody forgets what they need to do in the scene, or they just start smiling or whatever. But if you are like very if you have enough time, and if you have like enough patience, you got results after a while,
It's incredible, really. I mean, and there's so much restraint in the acting. It's
Yeah, but also one part is completely unknown. We don't know what is talent for acting, you know, but you need to find it somehow, and if you find it in somebody, you know, he will show it in front of the camera. But if they don't have something like something like that, you know, it's a plane, it's like boring and it doesn't work after all, you know. So I think the casting was the crucial, like to find the people who are able to express those emotions and to, I mean, to work with them on it for a very long time and to improve it. Sometimes it was complete. I felt during the process that it's impossible and that there we are losing our time and we will not succeed. But you know, it's somehow after a while you got some positive changes, you know, some steps further, and you feel more and more that it's possible. And when since we are doing test shoots all the time, we could like compare the improvements over the time, so we could be like sure that some things are possible, and then we start to shoot film.
I want to expand on something you said about you know, what's kind of hitting something that's hidden and kind of making it come out. I think one of the most impactful things about the film is that, and you do set this up at the beginning with the archival footage, which is this kind of depiction of people with disabilities being kind of described as a mass of people, as this kind of, you know, generic you know, social body that needs to be fixed or needs to be trained in order to adhere to certain normative you know, behavioral patterns or very kind of, you know, to abide by social norms. But what's missing in that footage in particular is the individuality of each person, and more so than that, the emotional core of each person, not just from the archive footage, but really, I think, you know, the larger picture of mental institutions completely disregard that human core, which I think your film does magnificently.
Yes, but and also you need to know that it was shot 50 years ago, so like some things changes during the time, and the film itself said that like 30 years before the film was shot, the people with intellectual disabilities were killed in the concentration camps or killed by their parents or something like. And somehow during the period after Second World War, the public opinion about them changed radically. And of course 50 years ago people thought that they could be they could put them in the one institution and like train them for the so-called normal life. And of course the problem with the film is that the same kind of thinking persisted for decades after that. And but what we also found interesting in that material, that the optimism from the 70s, and it's the beginning of 70s, disappeared completely, like, and that optimism becomes a very pessimistic picture of the institution nowadays. I mean, what's interesting with that the footage is that it's institution where we shot the film, and we found that footage during the shooting of the film. So we were shooting the opening sequence of the film, and the residence comes with the 2 rolls of 16 millimeters footage, and they give it to us and said, "What's inside? You are doing films, something, you know." And we were like, "We don't know. We need to Telekino and see." And then we send it to Telekino, and then we find out that it's promotional film for the institution, shooted in beginning of 70s when the institution was open. And somehow we find that we feel that we need to challenge and juxtapose those 2 scenes, the opening scenes and the, let's say, prologue, or that archival footage, which gives you instantly the context of the film, but also on emotional levels give you some kind of very strange feeling at the beginning of the film, a feeling about the passing the time, you know, like the time structure which disappeared, and in front of us we have now we have the present time and the casualties from the past, somehow, you know, casualties of wrong ideas from the past, which used to be very human ideas back then.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you showed us very well in the fact that, you know, for an institution that's supposed to, you know, to help them develop as, you know, normal human beings, it's the institution itself that actually deprives them of those of that kind of liberty of spirit. You know, the worst way possible with Dragana's pregnancy, and, you know, but also in forbidding the love between Maria and Robert.
Yes, but that's what I mentioned before, that every melodrama is a bit challenge the power structure itself, you know. And but also there is another layer which I didn't know back then, that suddenly, you know, these all circumstances we are now living with, the pandemics open, like we are in this kind of same situation, to be governed and to be supervised all the time, you know. So now we are also in a kind of institution, but very different one. But the methods are the same, you know, methods of governing, or methods of surveillance, of supervision. So I could never imagine that something like that would work on that level, because it didn't exist so vividly in front of our eyes. I mean, it existed for sure, but we were not aware of it until the new circumstances come, and when we can plastically see in front of our eyes that the same methods are introduced to the whole humanity now.
It does, it does feel like we're living, you know, in a movie. With
yeah. And the script changes all the time, you know?
Well, it's more like a TV series in that case. It's not.
Yeah. Or maybe some kind of new movie which will last forever.
Let's hope not. I want to ask, because I think we're going to be running out of time soon. I guess by now, all 3 of them have seen the film. Yes? Or
yes,
no?
but they saw it before it was finished. They saw it because we were editing the film immediately after we shoot the scene, we assemble. We did the rest we did before and so on, so they could see most of the film, during the shooting, but they could not see the film in front of the audience still, because they were the institution was closed for any visitors like a year ago, and nobody could leave the institution for the year, almost year. So we could not see each other for that time, and we communicate only through the social media.
I was gonna ask, so you're in touch with them? They're okay?
Yeah, we're in touch every day, but we could not go there to visit them because it was under special rule, because the population there is very fragile for the virus, and nobody could get from outside to the institution. There are very strict rules, and they could not leave institution also. So like for that's very sad situation there, that for more than a year they could not see the film or to be fully let's say to see their work in front of the other people. That's very pity, and I hope that we will manage in May to organize the premiere here in Belgrade in front of the audience. I hope
really
it will be possible. They are freshly vaccinated, like so I think it will be possible.
Man, oh, listen, we're all crossing our fingers for that to happen. And for what it's worth, please send them our best. I know it's just one person waving, but believe me, I'm sure there are hundreds of people that have seen the film, and share my feelings. Please tell them.
Yeah, well, I will for sure.
Man, Ivan, I think we need to wrap it up here. So I'm just gonna once again congratulate you. I mean, there are a lot more things to talk about, but again, you have made it an amazing film, and together with the three of them and the whole team, and I just want to thank you for that. Really.
Thank you for this invitation and opportunity to speak a little bit more about the film.
Always our pleasure.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Robert, ali ti znaš šta je bilo sa Draganom? Ti znaš, Marija?
Ne znam ja.
Vidiš, ja sam čuo da ste vas dvije najbolje drugarice.
Ona je to izmislila. Ljubomorna je što volim Roberta.
Da